Hello guys and welcome back to MonLabo Linux. So you already know what you see here, and it's just a continuity from what we were talking, okay, which is what we were talking about, which is Helm chart. So we are already progressing here. We see that we have some customization that are already happening. We understand what is new line indent with some numbers next to it and any other stuff, okay, so which is quite nice. All right, so now um I want to put the namespace here, right? If you remember, we have namespace that we have here, and that guy is already happening. So basically it's going to custom metadata, namespace, okay, values, custom metadata and namespace to get the namespace that we needed. Okay, now we need to also change the replica set. Okay, so replicas I mean belongs the to the pod spec to the spec here of the pod, okay, to the pod spec. Okay, so that means, for example, I can call the next block as what, so I can construct another block here, no longer on the metadata, but on the something else. I will take care of the comment later on, okay, as it is already proposed. So I will say um, pod spec, okay, and then I will hit enter. So when I hit enter, you can see that it's already proposing some stuff. All right. So usually when you have container, uh, that's for a container it is proposing, but I want for the replicas, okay, so because the replicas can have multiple stuff here, it's not only what you see here, okay, the replica, I mean the spec for the pod spec can have multiple stuff. So at this point we are not concerned by that, so I will just say replicas, okay, replicas or replica count, that's what you will commonly see. So I can decide that, hey, it's gonna be maybe 2 3 or whatever, okay. So earlier you were creating 3, I can say that I want a default of 1, okay, and later on we see how we can use a conditional flow to master how we pass the values of the data of the those replicas, for example, or maybe some other stuff. So here now, I'm pretty sure you already know how to deal with this thing, right? So here now we can just say this, and the AI help me on this one. All right. So I can already have something like this, which is nice. All right. So now let's go ahead and try what we got and see if everything is still working fine. All right, so as you can see, earlier it was 3, now it's 1 here for replicas. Now we have namespace that came in because it wasn't there before, right? It wasn't there. So it means that everything is working as expected. All right. So now here I have, so here usually when you get to here, this is what we call the pod template. Okay, pod template. But from that point tablet, I have the container spec here, so I can call that container spec, for example, right? So you see that you can fully customize what you want to put there. Container spec, and then put column. All right. Now we have stuff related to the image. Okay. So the image that will be pulled, the image has at least 2 components, like the name, okay, the name of the repository and the tag on it. So that's what it is already proposing here. So we can just accept whatever it says there. But now we have some stuff related to container as well, like the port number from where it listens, okay, it listens. So here we don't only have that, because when we talk about ports, okay, we have something called that, come on, So we have something called name. Okay. Okay, so we have the container port. Right, so we have the name of it. We have the name, oops, like that. So we have something like this. So we have the name. So the name here, I can call that HTTP, and then we call this thing here, okay, this number on it. So we can say HTTP, and then we do something like container value container spec, and then this. All right, and then here container port. So on the container port, we can put what? We can put something like this. All right, and it will call that for me, which just go to values, okay, container spec, and then on the container spec we immediately have this. All right, so now that's the name. I want the protocol. So usually the protocol will not change that much. All right, so and it goes under the same line. So I have a problem with this guy here. Particularly I like to start with small layers, so I'm going to change that and come to port spec on replicas here and call that with small p. Okay, all right, so now that we have all those, all right, I want to, we can probably pull image policy if we want. All right, but it's always advised to do something like that. So you can say image policy. So image policy, we already know that we go to what? Container spec, then image and image policy. So that's what you see here: values, container spec, image, and policy. All right, so now what about um so now what about this name here? Okay, so the name, for example, and I'm going to take care of that name later on. Okay, let's take care of that name. All right, so the name here, I don't really want to have this type of name. All right, so I will change that, and here I will say something like dot. There is another top level object called release. Okay, so we have release dot. So if you type dot, you will see a lot of stuff that are available on the name. So release dot name. All right, and then after that release dot name, I will put something like this and say, for example, space dot chart. Okay, that's another top level object that goes to the chart file. Okay, so if you remember, we have the chart file. Release is usually what is passed through the command line. Okay, it's something that is created after the command line. So when you do Helm install and then you pass a name, that's the name of the release. Okay, so for example, if I do Helm template and I put a name, so this is the name of the release. Okay, this one first, so it means that this will be that name. So chart.name is just whatever you see here, which is MonLabo Linux. So now if we come back here, and then here, since I want to call my resources by what they really belong to, I will just call that deploy. Okay, all right, I will just call that like that, as the short name that we use when we do kubectl get or get deployment. We can use short name like deployment. So now that's what I have, which is quite nice, right? Now here, what about here? All right, so here we can call this the same way. For example, we can call this the same way. All right, or we can also build something. For example, so on the container spec, I can call something. Um, anyway, for now, let's leave it like that. So I want to call maybe that nginx dash something dash my release name, and then something else. Okay, so I can come here, take that, and come here, all right, and put that. So I can put something like this, and we have this name. Okay, so we have this name here. Now for the image, all right, for the image, we know that the image, so we can even make use of the name of the repository that we have here. Okay, but we can leave that for like that for now. So for the image, you know that it is available. We have the repository, so this is the repository, and then this is the tag number. Okay, that is there. So we can go like this. Okay, we come here, then we do this, we put double space there, dot values. Okay, so it's available on the container spec dot container spec dot, so we have image, and then dot repository. Okay, and then for the tag number here, we can decide that, hey, we want something from here. So if we don't give the this number, for example, we want to take whatever is coming from here. Okay, the API version. All right, so it means that we can get chart dot API version. So, and then there is something really interesting that we can use for that. That is called default. Okay, that will check and see if there is a default value that is passed for something, and if it's not there, then we can use something else. So I will accept whatever we have there for now, and now I will say, hey, I will use here default. Okay, now default will take two values. Usually it will take the default value, okay, which is the one that we which is the one by default that should happen if the optional is not given. So let's say this one is optional. Okay, this is the optional that we pass here. Now we need the default value itself. So the default value, we say values. The default value is not from values, it's from chart. Okay, dot, so API versions. Okay, API version, so now, as you can see, we have everything ready for us. Okay, let me zoom out a little bit on that, because I think it's too big to fit. So now you can see that we have a deployment that we took online, and it now looks like this. Okay, so so now we will go ahead and try. Okay, so let's go ahead and do something like this. So this default will take the 1.14.2 instead of the 1.16.0 from the chart. Why? Because this default, the default is here, but you will see that this one is already there, and then we'll take that. All right. Okay, so now if we clear that and then we do this, oops, we have something that happened. What does it say? It says executable chart version can't evaluate field API version in type interface. Okay, so that's a mistake from my side, and let's see where that problem is. Say line 1977, and as you can see, I say API version, but it's app.version. Okay, so that happens. So yeah, I took API version. It's state app, oops, app app version. Okay, so now if we try that again, oops, we still have something. App version, how did I write it? App version, yeah, so that's normal, right? Okay, I think I know what's going on. So here is app version. From what I see here, that's okay, but I think it's something else. So let's go and delete up to here and do that. So if you go to app, so you see that it's capital A, so it's app version. So now let's go ahead and try again. Okay, shall we? All right, so when we type, all right, so we have everything that came, okay. So you see that it took the 14 dot, the one dot 14.0, and here we have first MonLabo release. Okay, so that's the that's how everything now is being advertised, and you see same thing here. Okay, and you see, and you see the name of this and so on. All right. So this means that we were able to successfully customize this file, and there's still a lot to do, but so far so good. All right. Let's just try to push that to the cluster and see if we don't have any mistake that we made from our end. So we can do draw install. Oops, oops. Draw install. Alright, so which one is that? So we can take this one and say my app, and then we type this, and when we type that, we have a good result, right? So let's just do Helm list. So when we do Helm list, you can see that we have my app, okay, and then we have MonLabo Linux 0.1.0, and it's using this app version, application version, okay, and we are revision 1. So now I can do Helm status, and then I can say my app, and I will say show resources. Okay, show resources, and then it's going to show me all the resources that I need to see. I can see that I have this, okay, which is what I wanted. I can see the other stuff and everything is there. So the application is now up and running, and it's just waiting for us to go with more stuff. Okay, so let me just uninstall that. Alright, and it was called my app, or we can leave it running. Alright, so we can leave it running. So what about want to change? I want to see if the default here will be picked up from the chart. Okay, so here on the left, I can leave this empty. For example, put it like this, and it is empty. All right, so now that it is empty, let's see what the Helm template will say. Helm template, and when we do Helm template, all right, so you see that now it's taking that from the chart. Okay, so this here, so this part here is formed from this, okay, and then the chart, API version because we use default. Okay, so it's taking that from the chart app version, not API version again, because this one has been found empty. So the condition was made that if this one is empty, then go with the default. All right, and that default, when we open that, we can see that it is what? It is empty. Okay, so that's why it goes by what the chart has here, 1.16.0. all right, so if you want, you can push that to the cluster. So now if you want to push that to the cluster, you will do uh, helm upgrade. Okay, helm upgrade dash install, I think, and then for this, and it will be accounted as a revision 2. all right, because the image has been set to a new version, and then you will have new port. all right, so if you do minikubectl get port, all right, so you will see that you have this new guys. You have this new guy that has been running since 26 seconds ago. So if you like what you see, we will continue with this. We will go even further than this and use some advanced stuff on Helm chart. So if you like what you see, please consider giving it a thumbs up, subscribe, leave a comment. I like to hear what you guys say, and let's build this community. Bye bye. We have section 3 that is coming.